We live in a postmodern culture, a culture that has changed so drastically in a matter of no time. And what it's doing is it's telling us that God is dead. We have no need for God. Why would we? We've got science. Doesn't science answer all of our questions? And if they don't answer it today, maybe in the next 10, 15 years they will. So why do we need a God? We have medicine that has all kinds of cures today that we wouldn't have thought of years ago. And that's why people needed to have a God, because they had something to grasp onto. Today, we've got medicine. Isn't that our God today? And then we have technology, which gives us every single kind of gadget we could ever want to satisfy every kind of our needs. Just think about having a cell phone in your hand, and you have the key to all the knowledge that's available in the world. Amazing! So why would you need God? Now, this death of God theory goes back a long time, to the beginning of communism in a sense, because they said that God was the opiate of the people, and if we can get them to not believe in God, then we can control them. And we've had this growing disfranchisement with church and God for quite a while, but it's not as bad as it is now. Back in 1980 sometime, Time magazine ran a cover story where the cover of the whole magazine was pure black with white lettering which said, "God is dead." And inside, when you read the article, it was all about secular humanism. How we have become now so entrenched in our own egotism and our own ability to seemingly solve all problems, which of course we're not. We're finding out that we have developed a culture of, we don't need you, God, anymore. But we've never in our life ever needed God more than we do today. Look around your world. It's falling apart. And why? Because we can't believe in anything. All the structure of our society is falling apart because we all gave up our belief in God. And you can say, well, what can I do about it? Well, we can do a lot about it. Recent surveys have showed that the greatest growing quote-unquote religion, if it's a religion, is atheism. And more than 50% of the people now claim no religious affiliation whatsoever. And we can't be affiliated with the church if we don't know anything about it. And we can't accept the love of God if we're never taught about it. And we're all failures in a sense if we don't pass on the message of Jesus. That's our goal as Christians. Not just to have Jesus love me now, here and there, but for future generations. And if we put God to death today, there will be no God in 20 years. There will be no churches in 20 years. And there will be nothing, absolutely nothing, worth any kind of meaning. And we are the church. The church isn't just blocks and cinder blocks and bricks. The church is an organic, growing experience of persons, you and me. And if we don't make that church alive, then the church is dead. And there's a story of a pastor, I think it was in the Midwest someplace, saw his congregation getting less and less every Sunday. And he worked at it. He tried to get the people to come in. He tried to get the kids to come in. But it was not very successful. So what he did is he decided to go to the newspaper. And he put in an obituary. And the obituary read this: "Church is dead. Wake will be held Sunday afternoon from 3 to 6. Please come and pay your respects." And he waited the Sunday afternoon. And when he opened the doors at 3 o'clock, there was a line of people he couldn't see the end of. Because people in town wanted to know, were very curious about what kind of wake or funeral was he going to give for the church. And so they get into the church, line up, and as each one comes to the church, he sees in front of the altar a casket. And the pastor says to each one of them who comes in, "I want you to go up, and I want you to kneel at the casket, and I want you to look inside." And so one by one they went up, and they knelt by the casket, and they looked inside. And what do you think they saw? there was a mirror inside the casket, reflecting back themselves. Because if the church is going to die, and if the Spirit of God is going to die, and we are going to say God is dead in our life, we have to look at ourselves. Because each and every one of us has the obligation to make the message of God real. And instead of looking at a magazine that's saying, God is dead, hopefully, if you live the Christian life, you become that little candle in the darkness, then we will get a magazine and a newspaper and a media that will one day say, yes, God is alive and well. Will you make that happen?